I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll verify we have the form. Open the meeting. I'm going to start with routine matters. Number one, approve minutes of the executive and regular session of the January 11, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
Becky makes a motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. To approve the agenda.
I make a motion.
Becky makes a motion again. Ray seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Approved claims to date. Ray makes the motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your. Number four, approval of personnel and ECA recommendations. I'm going to go through each one. Stacy Gilbert, resignation from SHS Instructional Assistant. Rachel Whedon, resignation from SCS Treasurer. Megan Baker, new hire, SHS Receptionist Secretary. Tracy Stone, new hire, Payroll Clerk, Deputy Treasurer. Mary Albertson, new hire, SCS Treasurer. Dee Dee Zink, Transportation Director. Caitlin Ellis, maternity leave. Ashley Williams, maternity leave. John Scott, Corporation STEM Coach. Kevin Albertson, Adam Yule, Tim Anderson, Don Burton, volunteer assistant baseball coaches. Frank Mizak and Brian Putnam, SMS homebound instructor. Allison makes a motion, Becky seconds.
Business award.
Now we move on to the more exciting stuff, our Aurora Awards.
We have, we're excited, we finally got to be at a category where we could recognize some very deserving individuals that make up Salem Community Schools, from student athletes to staff members. And we're going to split this up. Mr. Minton is going to go over our student athletes, and we've got a long list, and we've been waiting to do this to recognize some of our fall athletes for quite some time. But we apologize for the delay, but we hope tonight's recognition makes up for it slightly. But we can't thank you enough for your contributions to your individual sports or individual teams, but how you have represented Salem with your careers. And what I've learned in my career, they don't let me read student names because I mess them up. And this is not a night where I want to mess up anybody's recognition. You know, good intent is sometimes thwarted by poor execution. So I'm having Mr. Minton read off our names of some very deserving young men and young women. And I think there's even some connections to Mr. Minton tonight.
Okay, the first award that we're giving out tonight is for volleyball, volleyball all conference, and we'd like to have Abigail Ratz come forward, please. What's that? I'll do the sports. If you want to, yeah. And you're welcome. If you wait right here, we're going to do a picture. Just wait right here.
We'll help, Brand. I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you read
Oh,
them,
you
we'll
got
see.
'em. Okay. All right. So the next group of awards will go football. And some of these people are here, some are not. But Reese McCoskey, he was football all-conference and a Region 10 All-Star. Trail Howard, football all conference. Porter Howie, football all conference. Danny Bowling, football all conference.
I will say, Reese is working, and I think Danny's working as well.
Seth Call, football all conference. So the next two are for girls soccer. Callie Backherms for soccer, academic all-state. And Samantha Calhoun for soccer all-conference. Boys soccer, Hunter Walden, soccer all-conference. Boys tennis, Cameron Albertson, tennis all-conference. And Colton Wheeler, tennis academic all-state. Girls cross country, Lainey Roberts for cross country all conference. And then girls golf, Lydia Minton, golf academic all state. Congratulations. Okay. Oh, we are. Yes. If anybody wants a picture, we can get pictures. I know Becky's going to take one right now.
I've got your nurses. Thank you, buddy. We're going to recognize a group of staff members that have been bombarded this entire school year with roles and responsibilities and work hours and work conditions that there is no way possible that we can thank them enough for what they have done. We're bringing up all of our school nurses today. We talk about people that are on the front line that work in hospitals and EMT situations. Our school nurses are doing this every single day and doing it under some very difficult conditions. So although we're going to give them our highest award, I'll never be able to thank them enough for what they have done to keep our schools, our students, and our staff safe and allow us to be in-person instruction for as possible as we can. These ladies have done a tremendous job. So there is a board member up here who said he would personally write everybody a $50,000 check. It'll bounce, but it'll be fun. But if I could have Debbie, Andy, Allison, and Debbie all come up here, please, so we can properly recognize you for the efforts you have done for Salem Community Schools. Thank you, man. Now, you guys can't leave yet, okay? One, they've got to give a picture, or get a picture. So I'm going to ask one more time. I can't overemphasize this. What they have done and continue to do, they don't have easy, 8 to 3 positions. What they're doing each week to keep us in session, to keep our kids safe, I feel embarrassed that all I can do is give you a plaque right now. So thank you to each of you for what you're doing for our entire corporation. Can I give one more round of applause for that?
We have one more award to give out tonight. This is our Community Business Award. And we started giving these out for the businesses that do a lot to give back to Salem schools, help out with Salem schools. And this one goes to a business that gives back all the time. And you see them all the time at different events. And so I would ask that Shane Dowling come up from Dowling Family Photos to receive this award for all the stuff that he does and his business does for Salem schools.
So that's the most exciting portion of our meeting, unless my wife is a nurse, she wanted to give a speech. No? Okay. You can leave now if you want, or you can hang around. We'll take a minute and let you guys leave if you want.
There's no disrespect if you want
If
this.
you want to stay. Huh? I seen Dee Dee's leaving too, and congratulations to her on finally having that title as that's huge too, getting our buses to and from school and our kids safe here. All right, we're going to move on to donations. Number 5, consider approval of a donation to Salem Schools Nutrition Program for $100 from Cindy Reiblin and $100 from Tanya Campbell. Number 6, consider approval of a donation to Salem High School Athletic Department for $6,029.97 from the Lloyd and Fordyce Agency Incorporated. Becky makes the motion. Becky seconds. Becky White. Becky Humphrey seconds.
Thank you.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. I got tongue-tied there for a second. Comments from the audience? Nobody signed up. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Our presentation tonight is from Brady Shrum Elementary. Would you like to talk about that?
This first semester, we had our presentations on basically a climate and culture focus. The second semester, this will be it's just all kind of inclusive, but the second semester, we're asking each of the buildings to give us some information about some data that's happening in their school, talk about the growth that's happened under some really adverse conditions, and to see that learning doesn't stop just because COVID has hit us. So I always introduce her as our rock star principal. I'd like to introduce Ms. Jen Lawyer, our BSE principal.
stealing my thunder. It's okay, no problem. So, as he mentioned, I was here in December, and then we switched around because of our schedules. So I had an opportunity to come to you in February. Unfortunately, our testing is still in the midst of being administered for our pivot growth data that we need for our reading data. So with that in mind, science girl, I took a little bit more qualitative instead of quantitative data, but there's a little bit in there as well. But I just decided it was easier for me to show you than for me to tell you. So I have about a 3-minute clip, if you'll indulge me here in just a minute. I'm going to act like I'm on Jimmy Fallon. I'm going to set this up a little bit. So to set this up, you're going to notice first in kindergarten, we have something called the Orton-Gillingham approach. Excuse me, my mask is...
You can
In
take it
real
off,
trouble?
Jen, if you want to talk.
What's that?
If it's easier to take it off to talk.
We're good, it's okay. So you're going to see the Orton-Gillingham approach, and that is an idea teaching phonics that you're going to see in a lot of kindergarten classrooms. It's also a method that's very effective when it comes to dyslexia assistance. CAST, if you're not familiar, has a wonderful program that uses this method, and we've been incorporating it in our younger, I'd say even older grades. But they're doing a great job. So you're going to see that first. Then you're going to see a little bit from another kindergarten classroom. They're actually doing word problems, which blew my mind that we were doing word problems in kindergarten. So you're going to see that, and then you're going to see a little bit of 5th grade doing grammar, and then back to 3rd grade for math. So I think we're ready. So that's it, just a little bit about what you're going to see if you had an opportunity to be at BSE. I know that right now nobody's coming into the building, so we wanted to give you a snapshot about what you might experience in each of the grades, or a portion of the grades, I should say. But we are very, very proud of what our teachers are doing. When they are in the building, they are working double. They have people that are remote and in person based upon the number of absences we have with our students. So you're going to be seeing them teaching synchronously with people that are not on the site. They also, when we go to remote, they're working extra hours. So we're just really pleased with the performance and the progress that we have seen in our students, which I think you can see on that video as well. So very proud of them, and we appreciate your time listening.
Thank you, Jen.
Is there anybody that has any questions, I should say?
Well, we just enjoyed, last time you were here, I think it was before Christmas, and I don't think we talked about how much we enjoyed the Christmas activity. We talked about it as a board at our meeting, but we hope that they're the same next year. We love the whole community involvement, so we hope that that can be a redo next year. We hope so as well. It was very well received.
Anybody else have any questions? We appreciate you, Mrs. Lawyer. Thank you, and to your staff and teachers.
Thank you, Ms. Lawyer. And no, you're not going to be disrespectful to us either. You've had a long day. You're more than welcome to Vamoose. Okay.
So we'll move on to action items. Number 7, consider approval of school calendar for the 2021-2022 school year.
I'll take the lead on this. However, I'm going to say the wizard of creating this document is Mr. Minton. Basically, the calendar is pretty consistent with last year. We would recommend that we're going to start school next year on August 5th, first student day, and we would conclude on May 24th of next year. Those are student days. Staff days are slightly different. We have coordinated our fall break to align with Prosser. I know it doesn't impact a bunch of families and students, but the ones it does, that's important. So we should be in alignment with Prosser and our vocational schools. The largest thing that you will see missing on the calendar are snow days, because technically, based on the advancement and commitment of the school corporation to have computing devices K through 12, we have the ability to go remote learning on snow days or inclement weather days. So we don't have to have built-in makeup days. Also, we've probably the most transformational thing we can do with our learning instruction is the inclusion of built-in PLC time, which would give our teachers the ability to collaborate, which up until now they just haven't had that opportunity. We'll work on the specific timings and how we're going to help families that has an adjustment one day a week. We already started that process, but we'll provide those updates before we end this semester, because I think there's some pretty cool opportunities to work with outside sources and some of our existing student programmings that I think are going to help with one day a week. So with that said, we'd recommend consideration of adopting we'll do the graduation at the end, the 2021-22 school calendar.
So moved.
Becky White makes the motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, now we're going to move on to Dr. Thurston.
Thank you. Very pleased to have Eric Long and Vice Miller, your not our bond counsel, Tyler Loeffel-Holtz of Baker Tilly, our bond counsel, and John Hawkins of Covert Hawkins, our architect. I like to call these guys the power trio, because if I pay attention to them, they make life a little easier for me in this arduous process of issuing bonds and going through all the paperwork and making sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. So Eric is going to guide us through 1028 hearing, which is the opportunity for the board, for the community to receive and comment on improvements to current school facilities. That halfway accurate, Eric? Okay, all right. Okay, well, then I'm going to stop before I mess up and turn it over to you at this point then.
Yes,
Yeah, no.
he's gonna walk us through.
Yes.
Got you one right here.
Need a motion to close the meeting.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Becky White makes a motion to close. Mark seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Meeting's closed.
Eric, will you stand there too?
Right here in the middle?
It's fine.
Okay.
Wherever you want.
I don't want to block Jana.
I'm gonna go to this way. I'm sorry, maybe.
Good?
Good. JD says.
Well, good evening to the board. Once again, my name is Eric Long. I was here about a month ago, and it's my pleasure to be here again this evening to just kind of help walk us through the 1028 hearing process. So with the regular meeting being suspended and the hearing being opened, you're going to hear from a couple folks this evening to basically present on what educational needs you have as a school corporation at certain facilities. I believe there are 2 separate projects that are being discussed this evening, one at the middle school, one at the high school. So there'll be some discussion on how those projects are going to meet the needs at those facilities, and then there will be some discussion on the financing of those. So pursuant to certain portions of the Indiana Code, before a school corporation may spend more than $1 million to build, alter, repair, renovate any school facility using a financing mechanism with lease or bonds, that school corporation must hold a public hearing at which explanations of the value of those projects to the school corporation and the community will be given. Upon the conclusion of the hearing, there will be consideration of resolutions that will establish the maximum financial parameters for the project. And I do want to just mention at the outset here as well, I think it's going to be mentioned in a lot more detail. Somewhat unique is that a good chunk of the project cost is actually going to be coming from a FEMA grant. And so that does not actually get figured into the borrowing or the resolutions for the borrowing if the school corporation makes a resolution that those FEMA grant funds will be used exclusively for the project. So that's also going to be in your board packets for consideration, is some official language basically saying that any FEMA grant money that comes in for these projects will indeed be used on those projects. So that's the legal process and legal steps, and I'll turn it back over to Dr. Thurston to talk about, or to bring more guests up to talk about the financing and the construction components.
And I believe there are not accompanying resolutions that the board will need to sign once they get to this approval.
Correct. So
process.
yes, once again, once the public hearing portion is closed and the regular meeting is reactivated, my recommendation would be the consideration of 3 resolutions, one being the 1028 resolution. The other 2 resolutions, the second one is just checking the box for state law purposes with the board making a finding that there is an educational need for the projects. The third resolution this evening is specifically entitled the Declaration of Official Intent to Reimburse Expenditures. We call it a reimbursement resolution. It just reserves your right as a school corporation to the extent you have any expenditures that have to get paid out before the closing on a bond issue, you reserve the right for federal tax purposes to reimburse yourself out of bond proceeds. So those are the 3 resolutions that would be for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if Mr. Lofaholtz would like to go over his presentation on the financing, would be
What we got?
and he's got it.
I'll make
Okay.
it. I won't do that.
Good evening, and thank you for having me again. I'm Tyler Buffleholtz with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors, and I'll be walking through some of the financial implications of the project. So I'll start off by just highlighting what the current outstanding debt looks like with the school corporation. Here you'll see the detail of the current outstanding debt, but you'll see a better visual on the next slide. As you can see here, your total annual payments will be dropping in 2025, and then all of your current debt will be paid off at the end of that year. Now, my next couple of slides will highlight separating out what the FEMA grant will pay for and what the school corporation will be responsible for. So for the middle school project, about $3.58 million will be paid for by the grant, and the school will be responsible for $2.67 million. For the high school project, $3.87 million will be paid for by the FEMA grant, and the school will be responsible for $2.9 million. So taking the school corporation's portions of both of those projects, the $2.67 million and the $2.9 million, that gets us to $5.57 million that the school will be responsible for. So what we have done is we've structured a $5.57 million bond issue. And here's how that looks along with your outstanding debt. So the light gray bars there represent the new debt. And what we've done is we've used conservative interest rates that are 1% higher than current rates. And based on those rates, we're estimating total interest expense over the life of the bonds to be about $765,000. And we've structured these in a way to give you a drop in total annual payments in 2025, and then they'll be paid off by 2028. And what that drop does is it gives you flexibility in the future. If you have additional needs come up in the next couple of years, you can issue additional bonds to pay for those projects and prevent your total annual payments from increasing above where they currently are. But you'll see for this project, you will notice that in 2022, we would anticipate a higher total payment than in 2021. And because of that, we do anticipate an estimated debt service fund tax rate increase of about 4.45 cents. And on this slide, you'll see a summary of how that would impact various taxpayers within the district. Now, I won't walk through all of these numbers, but I'll highlight a few of them. Someone with a homestead, that is the median home value within the district of $108,900, would see an annual impact of $17.15 or $1.43 per month. For each acre of agricultural land, we would see an annual impact of 57 cents or 5 cents per month. And for every $100,000 of commercial or rental property, we would estimate an annual impact of $44.50 or $3.71 per month. And that's all I have for my presentation, but I'm happy to answer anything anybody has for me.
Does the board understand the period after that where we could adjust if we needed any more money for improvements that we talked about as far as committees and whatnot? You have any questions as far as that goes?
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler. Okay. And last but not least, we have Mr. Hawkins with us tonight. He has some comments, remarks regarding the architectural endeavor of this project. Microphone right there.
All right, so mine don't, John,
Microphone. Thank you.
my slides don't involve much thinking, they're just pictures. So just go ahead and page through them. The first one is the high school. We're adding on at the south between the building and the tennis courts. So you can just keep paging through. And these are just computer renderings from the outside of what it would kind of look like. We've got a little plaza there next to the tennis court because there's a grade change, so we have to be able to get down to the building. So go ahead. That's from Shelby Street looking at the north side where you've got the existing chillers, and we have a little loading dock for the band room and a emergency generator. That would be what was that would be facing Harrison Street, but it's set back from the road. So there's a little plaza at the tennis court, which would be a little concession area there where the door and the coiling grill are. And this is a view of the band room. And then another view of the band room. Has a special ceiling for acoustical properties and storage compartments in the rear. There won't be as many windows as this shows. Turns out windows are very expensive in a tornado-proof room. The loading dock will be a couple of feet higher than the band room, so we'll have a little ramp down from the loading dock into the band room. That's the choir room with the windows facing out to Harrison Street there with risers in the choir room. And then that's another view of the choir room with mirrors on one wall. It'll have an acoustical ceiling. It won't be as fancy as the band room, but it'll be a special ceiling. And just another view of the band room with the risers. And another view. And then this is a kind of a bird's eye view with the roof peeled off, showing the band room to the left and the choir room to the right, and then some support spaces in between so that you can buffer the sound between them, and some support spaces around the outside. And then this is the latest plan, current as of today, where you can see we've kind of filled out the corner on the left because the engineers wanted more mechanical space. They always want more mechanical space. And we've tweaked a little bit up where it connects to the building. And then the next project is the middle school, which is a STEAM room, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. So it's the to the right there, that's the addition that sticks out from the front. And that's a view from the parking lot down by the creek. There's a little bird's eye view. It would have a little bit of a sloped roof and we're trying to work on recessing the emergency generator down into the bank there, and so we wouldn't have to have a wall around it. But that shows the generator out at the north. And then we'd have to rebuild the steps and do a ramp up to the entrance, and then there to kind of the angled wall with the glass would be kind of the entrance to the STEAM room. So that part with the glass is not part of the tornado room. It's the brick room with not very many windows to the right. And then there's a little exploded view. Would have a couple of collaboration rooms. Maybe one could be a little radio or TV studio, so Becky could come in and teach people how to do it. And, just some different pods out there. We're working on some different furniture layouts. And then to the right are the support spaces, bathrooms, and utility room. And that's an interior view. Show the different pods, different furniture. Another interior view, just basically one big room with kind of a sloping ceiling. And there again, same thing. This would be an example of one of the two collaboration rooms. We've just filled in some furniture to give you a sense of scale for those two rooms. You can do anything you want with them. That's more of an overall plan showing the little plaza out in front. The blue spaces are additions that are not the tornado spaces. The beige is tornado space. So one more. That's the current overall plan of today. And then scroll down more, get you a little closer in view that shows the restrooms. We stole some space from the hallway in the restrooms because the mechanical guys wanted more mechanical space. They always want more mechanical space. And then the two collaboration rooms, a connector hallway to the school through that vestibule with a storage room. For students, that would be the day-to-day path to the room. That's it for that presentation, and then I have the schedule. That's great, that's easier to see. I have the target dates and then the dates completed. So the first one where it's not completed yet on the date, that's received the grant agreement from IDHS. We have one, but not the other. So they were supposed to have that by September last year. They're behind. Kickoff meeting with IDHS was supposed to happen October last year. It's now scheduled for February 23rd. But we've gone ahead, so we are targeting to be out for bids. Advertised March 23rd would be the first advertisement. We have to get approval at the February 23rd meeting to do that. So that might slip depending on what they say, but that's the target date right now. You would receive bids April 29th. Scroll on down a little bit, please. You would award the construction contract at the May 10th meeting, and then we'd be off to the races. Now, the FEMA schedule right now says that we have to be done June of 2022. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but in a project like this, there are a lot of things that are not off-the-shelf items. They are special order items that take a long time to get. So we are asking FEMA to give us an extension, since everything's been delayed, to October to give us a little more breathing room. And that's it. Any questions? Good. Yes, ma'am.
For the band, going back to the high school, was there restrooms and the new construction in that?
Yes. Yes, we have restrooms out in the common area between the band room and the choir room, and then we also have one restroom that's right off of the band room.
And another thing, I just want to, with the other safe room, I just want all the furniture is movable. I just want to put that, make sure that the community knows that in case we do have to use it for something serious, which, I mean, not needs, you know what I'm saying, but for a tornado or something.
That is correct.
Furniture can be used to.
That is correct. The size of the space in the case of a tornado shelter is designed for 5 square foot per person. So not a whole lot of area. So yeah, you'd be moving the furniture and cramming in.
Right, I just wanted to say that's nice that we can, do that.
Yep. Yep.
One of the changes to the new board members is originally the plan was for it to be kind of like an open room at the middle school. And Mr. Acton sent out a couple, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I'll make sure everyone understands. So this is the first really conceptual drawing you can see of everything. So I want to caution everybody, what you see right there, that specific table or that specific color, that's John's click and fill, right? So we'll be
It's like ordering coffee on the Starship Enterprise. You just say, computer, get me furniture. and
Yeah,
plop
so
furniture.
we have a long ways to go, and you're starting to see some of the potential color schemes and surface things. So we have a long way to go, and that's kind of the exciting part when you get to do the actual picking of those aspects. But reason we got here to this point, I think the original concept was it was going to be a party room, and that's great. The instructional value of that is a little less than if we create a STEAM center. So the concept will be, this would eventually be a K through 8 daily use facility, that our kids would cycle through this facility. And a part of the creation of a new curriculum to allow our kids some opportunity, our board's heard this from me already, that we have to be able to compete. We've got to put our kids in the position to compete with kids from all over the state of Indiana, all over the world, and by creating this potential facility, it gives our kids a leg up on surrounding areas. So having the physical space and now how we design it to fit the curriculum and the curricular programming, that's really the exciting part. Well, I guess it depends on where you are in the project, right? John gets to design it. Tyler and Eric have their components. Everybody has a piece of this puzzle, but when it all comes down, when we get to, I know he said 10/22, but I'm positive we'll have that ready for the start of school year, right, John?
Well, that's the project closeout date. We've got the substantial completion date's July 29th there. So.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's life, right? Who would have predicted all the delays we've had over since last March? And understand, they've done this project without any guarantee of any funding. and so to have faith in Salem in this process speaks a lot about Covert Hawkins and their ability to work with us. So when it's all said and done, Salem Community Schools will be the only corporation in the state of Indiana to have 3 tornado safe rooms. No other corporation in the state of Indiana.
West.
In the Midwest. Heck, we'll just spin that to the United States. It doesn't have to be accurate, it just has to be said, right? This creates such an opportunity for our community, and I envision this not just stopping at school hours, that we have the ability to extend this. And for Bonnie and Verda, what an amazing opportunity to have a first-class facility for our kids, and not to have to cross the road at night in the dark. And talk about an additional safety factor. Our kids walk across the street to go from one room to the next, and thank goodness we're gonna take care of that aspect. So that's probably more than you wanted, but this is a pretty cool opportunity for our community.
It is, and also to the new board members, one of the questions that was previous to the board was, well, why us? Why are we the only ones? Well, it's having Covert Hawkins is doing all the work without being the guarantee of getting the job or the money has been the issue. So not everybody has them, and that's helped with Salem to do that. And we thank you tremendously, because these will hold all kids in the event we have a loss, and they are generator powered, so that who knows, we've been through a pandemic. If we have something else, we could set up three field hospitals like you've seen in other cities and whatnot. So
Yeah, Larry Temperman in our office is the person who figured out all of this federal bureaucracy along with River Hills. And that's really it. It is a mountain of paperwork to go through. And he's got the tenacity to do it.
we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Any questions from the audience?
Does the audience have any questions on the projects? Yeah, Ray does.
John, when I was looking through the drawings, I noticed the sidewalk from the loading dock out to Shelby Street, but it's not the sidewalk from the parking lot where most people would be walking into the shelter area.
Which parking lot?
The parking lot, this parking lot here,
Back
This
here.
parking lot.
you have to go that direction to the building and have to walk through the grass and mud or whatever.
Where the
if there
coolers.
was a situation.
So you'd like a sidewalk
From the parking lot to,
along Shelby Street?
no, from the parking lot directly to the building.
Could you open that file again, please?
Currently, there is
I don't think
drawing.
parking on the north side of this, or north end of this, walk out to Shelby Street.
Scroll down one, please.
Currently, the drawing has one going out to Shelby.
Right there, yeah, let's see. Right, so the dark is the driveway that goes out to Shelby for the loading dock.
Now, visualize a walking path, sidewalk over to the parking lot there, alongside the generator, or along through there, right?
Well, there's a big ditch there.
But I don't, but we want to get people,
You'd go out to the sidewalk that was along the street, would be the thought.
that's what you wanted to do. I'm just thinking people trying to get into the
It wouldn't be,
facility as quickly as possible.
it wouldn't be a sidewalk, it would need to be steps down to the ditch, then a sidewalk through the ditch, and then steps up from the ditch.
I hadn't looked at it.
Or-
I hadn't looked at it.
Or a bridge.
If the ditch was full of water, you get wet, or?
Well, we'd
Uh,
have to go over it. We'd have to go over it. So
The
some type
thought
of
for
walking
students
bridge or
was that they would go through the school, and we've added doors in that little vestibule stairwell there at that corner to be able to move more students in quickly. The public, there are some parking spaces where that arrow is, or like you say, this parking lot, and then the sidewalk that's out along Shelby Street would be the path.
So,
Joe asked for a sidewalk along the chillers into the door that's down in that little notch in the building right there, yes. So we've got, and even that sidewalk takes stairs to get. So we've got that one.
So would this be handicap accessible from coming that walking trail, say by wheelchair, and then coming in that black area?
Yes,
onto-
that,
So there would be a ramp to get them into the,
yes, that would be an accessible route. That's
Okay.
correct.
But-
We
but
can
no
certainly
way this way.
take a look at it, Mr. Opel. We'll,
Well, I hadn't looked at the area out there, I just, when I noticed that, I thought people in the parking lot walking all that out the hill and back in.
yeah, Joe took me down through that ditch, is why I know it's there.
It's huge. It's been a while since I've been through it.
Yeah, yeah. We can definitely take a look at it, but I think the route's going to be out along Shelby Street
or through the school.
or through the school. Yeah, for the students, it's through the school.
Yeah. Great question, though. Allison asked if we could get rid of the ditch. I think so we just have to, we'd have to do some type of, it would have to be a bridge across that, would be the only option. You're saying take steps down into the ditch and then back up out.
When old people like me went to school here, there was a thing called the moat.
There was water, yeah.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
water under there, and that's still the drainage path. It's a lot of storm water that goes through there.
So we probably don't want to disrupt that. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Huh? Richard, you got a question?
Oh, I just chattered about a bridge, what that entails, or, a walkway that would span,
So we call that scope creep. We prepared the budget for this project over 2 years ago. And then as we go along, everybody says, hey, how about this, how about this, how about this? So we had, in our budget, we had 13,000 square feet for the high school edition, 7,100 square feet for the middle school edition. Through scope creep, we're at about 13,800 now on the high school and 7,500 on the middle school. And we've got steel prices going through the roof and wood prices going through the roof. So we could look at doing a drawing for that and bidding as an alternate and just see how the bids come in. But I'm guessing that's, with the stairs, I'm guessing that's somewhere in getting close to $100,000 worth of sidewalk and stairs and railings.
it just seems like it's more handicap usable and stairs down and up would not be.
Well, but they have the other area, the little parking area with the ramp that comes in
Yeah.
over on that side, so it does have
Okay,
that.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Mrs. Martin asked, how often would the public be going through there? Probably not. If they're holding some type of recital or music venue, I mean, you'd probably filter through one door and maybe through here.
I don't know, it's worth thinking about because, that's a good point. If there's a recital, where are people going to park and how are they going to get there? So maybe it'd be a good idea to bid something like that as an alternate. We'll see what we can figure out there. Well, the choir room, the idea with the concession is not only concession for the tennis courts, but there was the idea of maybe a little dinner theater type presentation. So, yeah, there could be after hours things. Yes.
Would it be similar in size to the choir room, similar in size to this presentation room?
No, it's not this big.
About half the size?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, or smaller. The band room's probably more about half of this size. The choir room's a little smaller than
A
the
little
band
small,
room.
gotcha. Any other questions? Any other questions from the public?
Close hearing.
Motion closed.
Make the motion.
Becky makes motion to close the hearing. Mark seconds. All those in favor? I can get a motion to open the board meeting. Allison makes that motion. Mark seconds. All those in favor? Back back in the board meeting.
And Eric Long has those resolutions he wants to discuss at this point.
Okay. Eric's going to discuss those 3 resolutions that we discussed in the hearing.
Okay, with the hearing component now concluded, before you ever leave in your packets, you have 3 resolutions pertaining to these projects labeled Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. I would recommend separate action on each of these resolutions. The first one is the project resolution, and there's a subtitle with the resolution regarding the pledge of the grant funds, as we previously discussed. So here, once again, with the financing of more than $1 million at a given facility, Indiana law requires a resolution of this type. And again, it has the specific findings regarding the pledge of the FEMA grant funds to be used exclusively on these projects for your consideration.
You guys don't have them in your packet.
Yep, so Eric, do you want to give them the official name of the first resolution that you're talking about there? It's not.
Yes, so the official label Exhibit A in my hands, it's the project resolution and the resolution regarding the pledge of grant funds.
So.
Need
Huh.
a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
So Becky makes a motion. Ray seconds. All those in favor?
So the second resolution for your consideration is entitled the resolution determining need for the project. The specific financing mechanisms being recommended for this is it's a building corporation bond issue, which a school corporation has undertaken before. And just because we're operating in that statute, again, there needs to be a specific finding regarding the approval of these projects. So recommend that for consideration.
Recommend.
I'll make the motion.
Becky makes that motion again. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
And the final resolution related to the projects is the declaration of official intent to reimburse expenditures, also known as a reimbursement resolution. Again, just reserving your right as you work through that construction timeline. If you expend any of your own dollars towards these projects before the bond issue closes, you reserve your right to reimburse yourselves for federal tax purposes out of those bond proceeds.
Make that motion.
Becky makes that motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
And that's all I had this evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. There'll be copies of the resolutions by the minutes tonight. Jana
Yes,
has those
they
for
will,
you to
they will
sign.
need to sign by all board members. We'll move to number 9, consider approval of the updated non-certified benefits.
Back in November, the board went through and approved some changes to the non-certified personnel benefits, but there are 2 changes that need to be made, or we think need to be made. And so we're recommending those changes tonight. The first one was a change in the 6-month notification. In the past, any non-certified personnel that wanted to retire had to let the school corporation know 6 months before the retirement date. And so we brought this more in line with what the teacher's contract is. So May 1st is the notification date of that school year. And then the second change was the requirement for anyone retiring. In the old policy, it had that they had to file with the state to start taking their PERF, their retirement from the state, or with the Social Security. And the thought was, why do we need to tell them they have to start drawing their money? They should be able to decide when they want to draw their money. So we recommend making those 2 changes, and that's in the packet tonight.
Yeah, both those changes are direct representative of what's best for our employees as they retire. So thanks for doing that legwork. Allison's going to make that motion. Mark seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead, Mr. Eric.
Tyler, Eric, and John, there's no disrespect if you guys want to get back on the road home. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. We appreciate all your work.
Appreciate it.
Number 10 is also in interest of our non-certified. Consider approval of non-certified compensation. And
Right. Tab number 10 has materials that illustrate the savings school system experienced in staffing from the 2019-2020 school year to the 2021 school year. And with that savings, there's an approximate difference of $388,908 between the 2 years in terms of we were able to, with many retirements in 2019-20, we were able to capture a difference of approximately $388,908. And we, the school corporation, absorbed the health insurance increase of 8%, which amounted to $85,768 this year. And we're recommending a 2% pay increase for our support staff, all support staff. And that would amount to, based on the numbers on the spreadsheet, would amount to $41,022.89. And facilitating these two moves would still yield a savings of approximately $262,117.11, or 67.4% of the original net gain. So we will go back and, with the recommendation, retroactively pay from the start of the school year to the current time. Typically, historically, we've done this in December. The teachers are in the second year of a 2-year contract, and we would have historically made the recommendation in December, but with some changes, board changes, we didn't get that achieved, and so we're recommending tonight that we pursue the historical, traditional action of providing a 2% increase for the support staff, retroactive back to the start of school year.
Yeah, which is big. So we also, in the last couple months, created a non-certified sick bank as well for non-certified, along with absorbing a health insurance premium increase cost for everyone, and then giving a pay increase to support staff if we shall make the motion. So nice work, great work.
Thank you.
From an administration standpoint. Allison makes that motion, Becky seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Big one here. Number 11, consider approval of the 2021 graduation date, which is June 5th.
Mr. Albert has recommended Saturday, June 5th, 2 p.m. In Brooks Gymnasium to go back indoors. We did a tremendous pivot last year to do the outside facility, but the gym is the traditional route, and we'd like to go back to that if at all possible. So recommending Saturday, June 5th as our official graduation date for the class of 2021.
You okay with that, Allison? Allison's the only one with the graduate, right? Yeah.
No, I have to.
Oh, Brent's got, so Brent as well.
I'll make the motion.
Becky's gonna make that motion. Richard seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Number 12, consider approval to declare useless and obsolete equipment, central office, SHS, SMS, PSE.
Right. Tab number 12 is a list of useless and obsolete equipment from the central office, Salem High School, Salem Middle School, Braysham Elementary. Most of it is technology related. Some of it's audio, video related, but it's been judged and deemed useless and obsolete by the people who work with it every day, and we certainly trust their judgment and look for their guidance when it's time to remove equipment that's no longer useful to us, but we need permission from the school board to declare this useless and obsolete so that it may be disposed of. So that's a recommendation tonight.
Allison makes that motion. Ray seconds. All those in favor, raise your right. Consider approval to cancel outstanding checks.
Okay, tab number 13 is a list of checks that are 2 years old or older that have not been cashed, that the treasurer, Rachel Whedon, would like to take off the books. In fact, we need to take them off the books according to the guidelines provided by the Indiana State Board of Accounts. If the funds that these checks originated in are no longer utilized or no longer available, then the money would go back, or the appropriation would go back into the education fund. But if the funds still exist, such as, for example, lack of healthy snacks, or certainly book rental still exists, then it would go back into the location where it originated. So we would recommend approval of these canceled checks, please.
Mark makes that motion. Becky Humphrey seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, moving on. Items from staff.
I have one.
Got one.
Because of the timing, we had two high school wrestlers who advanced to the semi-state, and because of that, they are now having a match or meet the semi-state in Jasper, and they are going to stay overnight. So there's a request in here for an overnight field trip for the two wrestlers that are advancing.
And those two wrestlers are Danny and yeah, Jalen. Yep. So congratulations to them and the coach, Andrew McCoskey.
I'll make the motion.
Becky makes that motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your hand. Non-action items. New board business. That was the only thing we had, right, Jana? Was the wrestling. Okay. Superintendent's report.
I try to make this real short because meetings get long. Superintendent's report it goes right into the positive praises. So we got to recognize our nursing staff tonight. As we continue throughout the rest of this semester, we're going to be bringing in a different group of people each meeting, as long as we're able to safely to recognize. I'll say we cannot give enough awards, enough praise to what people are doing in our school corporation every single day for our kids and for each other. I will tell you that we are in the middle of February Funapalooza, which is an intentional focus on climate and culture, and all three of our buildings are doing different things for their students, for their staff, and we're in that that time of the winter where it's cold and dreary, and so our staff is making this commitment to be positive, to make learning fun, to make not just our schools but our entire campus an inviting place to be. So they are busting their tail to do that, and I'm really proud of. They've got this list of activities, and some they've shared with their staff, and some they haven't, to be that surprise factor. Some they've shared with their students, some they haven't. It just makes it a special place when your kids want to be at school because of the effort that our staff is doing. So I see Kevin and Jen here, and thank you guys for what you're doing to make school a fun place. So I appreciate it. I know Troy is doing the same thing at the high school. With that, I'll move into a quick positive praise, because I'm sure I'm not going to step on toes, because I'm anticipate some praises from some of our members. But I'd like to praise again the academic accolades of a young Mr. Minton, who just continues to crush things and receive accolades that directly benefit not only himself and his family, but shine light on Salem Community Schools and all the staff members that he has had as he's gone through. He is, so I don't jinx anything, in the running for a National Merit finalist, correct, Brent? I'm not going to jinx it, but,
Well, I will tell you that he found out today that he is a National Merit Finalist.
oh, wow. Wow.
Found that out this afternoon, so.
Awesome. I'm kind of speechless because that's an amazing accomplishment, kind of like the Heisman Trophy of academics for high school students. So that's amazing.
Thanks after his mom.
Yeah. So,
Exactly right.
and I know there's a heck of a lot more kids and staff we want to congratulate. So I'm gonna shut up and pass it on to other people. But all of our kids that do different activities, and whether it's on the playing field, in the court, or in the classroom, boy, it just speaks volumes to the support and the people they've had through Salem schools. So I'll pass it on to others.
Yeah, I've been coaching here for a while, and one of the kids I always thought was, and I was fortunate enough to coach Alex Davidson, but one of the big deals that I saw was Amber Kilburn. She was academic All-State in 3 sports. And Callie Backhurst, who was here tonight, has the opportunity to be academic All-State in 3 sports, which is huge, I think. So that's I mean, we got a lot of kids doing great things and a lot of smart kids. So.
Me?
Yep.
Okay.
Or whoever.
Well, I was gonna, John Trick, I was gonna say how proud I was of Aiden with the Lilly Scholar, and what a great, honor for our school corporation, what a great representative. And, but then now with that news, I knew that you were waiting to hear, and so what a blessing. And so hats off and congratulations to your beautiful family on that, and how wonderful that is for our whole school corporation, and what a great representative he is. I think another thing that needs praise is that we are even talking about spring sports, because last year, we were shut down. We didn't get spring sports, so I'm excited about that. That to me is almost like I guess the Easter egg. It's kind of like a renewal, and that's a good thing. Also, I think our teachers need a lot of praise, because I know there's a lot of them that want the COVID shots. And not to go into detail, but they've been very patient, and I know they'll be excited whenever that news happens. But anyway, I have to say hats off to them, and I think that I know I've talked with our health department, and several of you have talked with them in our community, and if we could get you any further up the step to get it, we would do that. But I just want to say hats off to our teachers and the whole group, from the bus drivers to the custodians to the lunch ladies and guys and everybody. I mean, just hang in there, and we're excited that when that COVID shot happens that you guys will get that. So it's a good praise that it will happen one day.
My praise would be for, my praise would be for the okay. I saw the elementary teachers. I think it was Casey Fields and Amy Collins that did Pioneer Day. And I love the creation of just an interactive learning experience like that with the kids, and I thought that was fantastic. Last week was also School Counselors Week, so just a little shout out to Leslie Slaughter, Caitlin Ellis, Andrea Pitcock, Jennifer Martin, and Chris Maheron for all they do for our students, and the mental health needs of the kids, as well as all their additional responsibilities, I know has been tremendous this year. Especially, and I'm thankful for that. And I am also thankful for the coaching staff for the girls basketball team, and all the girls that have had just a great 4 years and a great season. I think it was 91-16 over the last 4 years. And the group of seniors only had 2 losses in middle school as well, so just an exceptional group of girls, 2 academic All-States and 2 All-State alternates as well for that. For the seniors, so just a great group, and super proud of them.
I would like to say just saw the high school honor roll. There was a lot of names on there. It's good to see. I think it's important that we continue to recognize kids for making good grades. To any students, parents out there, just continue to work hard, support your kids. We're all functioning as a team here to continue our, to continue strong academics here. And for kids out there that if you don't understand something, reach out to your teachers. That's what they're there for. So I'd just like to continue to encourage kids to do that. because it seems like everything's going in the right direction academically and extracurricular things as well.
I'm going to give my praise to Mr. Bosley in the high school. I feel like he goes above and beyond. I know he comes in early mornings to meet with kids that have after-school obligations going on, to work with them and to help them to achieve the best grades that they can. And I just feel like that's exceptional. And I want to praise him for that.
I think Becky kind of touched on part of mine. I just want to commend the elementary staff. I talked to Jennifer on a daily basis on a bus duty about their willingness and flexibility in helping each other out, covering classes and other duties. Also volunteering after school to help the custodians out. So they've been a great help over there with each other. I want to commend that. And touching on what Allison said, the girls basketball team, I want to commend them, especially all of it, but the seniors who've given us 4 great years of very enjoyable basketball to watch with 3 sectional finals, 2 regional finals, and 7 state finals. It's been enjoyable for me since I keep the book all the time and go along the game. But I really have enjoyed those 4 years with these girls, and also Carly Sweeney for making the 1,000 point club. So shout out to them for what they've done for us and help our community. I think they bring a lot of respect to the community and a well-respected, great group of young ladies.
Here I am on the end, and everybody is, I think we all overlap each other so much when we talk about what we appreciate. I think one definitely the girls' many years together and how strong they've been and how proud they are. I hope that they go away knowing how important it was to all of us and to Aiden and to there's just lots of good things going on, I think, inside of our schools. We've got teachers that are working very, very hard, and it's not seen sometimes. Sometimes when it's double work in the class and then another day off and trying to communicate with people. I think they've all worked very hard at it. We've learned a lot. I would like for it to disappear and we get some more shots for our teachers and our staff, and but I think we do have a lot to be proud of, and we always have, and I think that's why we're here, is because we were proud of being here, and so the ditto down the line here for all those people care.
One group I didn't mention that I was going to mention was the Salem Lions swim team. Also had sectional this week and had 9 personal records. So we're competing on every level in academics and sports. Wrestling, we've talked about those two guys, and I don't know if they were talking this weekend when the last time that happened, but that's a big deal to advance to the state for them. We got some coaches in wrestling that are very determined. Yep, this one, I said swimming. Yep, 9 personal records in swimming this week. We got a lot of great things going on. There's not enough time to talk about all of them, but any more?
I think we got them.
We appreciate all of you coming out. Be safe home. I don't know if it's icing or if it's snowing yet, but if it is, be safe going on. Get a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Our next board meeting is March 8th. Get a motion to.
I make the motion.
Becky makes that motion. Allison seconds. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Meeting's closed.